next thing that I'm going to start is the jacket, and I want to do it in green, more bright green, and for that I'm going to experiment a bit with various green types. Probably start with some darker green and then get into some light green, but first I want to do something like a sketch and see how the colors interact. And like I said, I want some light green impression, or some really light green on the upper parts, so I'll just go for this. Do a little sketch with the pre-shading. Can always tone that down if it's too bright. And yeah, like I said, I want this really bright green up here, at least up to where this part of the jacket starts. And I'm going to do that in more probably blue, neutral blue, blue-gray. And I'll try to paint some texture on. So maybe like this is some rougher clothing. Also painting some lighter color on higher up areas, so those folds here would probably catch a bit more light. Like I said, this is just sketching. Okay, again, like I said, just touching the areas that would catch a lot of light a couple of times. Or maybe also here. But yeah, in general, I do like sculpting a bit more than painting. Because it's more of I create something from zero, right? I think that makes sense. But painting is also fun, especially when, like I said, when I can do it with not too much thinking.
Shut up and sit down.
Okay, let's see. Do we give it one more? Yeah, let's do that. Since it's dry anyway, just make sure that this color is covering everything. And again, I'm painting this first, the jacket, because then I can concentrate a bit more on getting the shirt neatly done, because yeah, because of the style that I paint, which is a bit more, you know, hectic, and like that I don't have to take care of the layers below, and like that I don't ruin anything that is painted below, even though I usually would start with the shirt probably. Okay, so let's see, now the experimentation starts. I'll try to I want to check if this green, maybe mixed with some olive green, does make for an interesting effect. So that should make for a bit of a darker turquoise, and maybe a bit of a desaturated turquoise. Hopefully exactly what I want to achieve. Maybe that's even a bit too intense. I'll just start in the shadows. Let's see how that works together. Yeah, I mean, I do like it. It probably needs a bit of transition, sort of like a mid-tone. Let's thin that down a bit more. Let's see how it looks if we paint over this. Especially the areas where you sort of, well, it's not wet blending technically, it's just feathering out the color that's covering the other color. But that does give a bit of an interesting effect actually. More water. And just experimenting here. Usually don't paint like this, but I just felt like trying it. So work a bit with the pre-shading and the darker areas. I just kind of want to keep the theme of just trying something completely different. Sort of like the first time I did some makeup effect like this. And it's, yeah, it does scream a bit, but I kind of like it. Exactly, hashtag fuck smoothness. There we go. Paint some green down here, even though the t-shirt is going to be in another color. But I just want to keep the green. Yeah, I think that works pretty good. Just dabbing on some of the base color again. Brings out the shine a bit again. So yeah, in that case it was good that I didn't really do base coats that covered everything. Because like that, there's still some room to go lighter. By not having to add white, which desaturates a color usually. And yeah, again, just playing with the fact that 2 layers cover better than one and will give you a more intense color, instead of trying to really maximize the blending. Okay, so there's, what is it, yellow green that I'm going to add a tiny bit for the highlights. Just bringing back the card. actually go for a purple t-shirt, I think. So that's why I don't want to do everything in just similar colors. So that's why I'm probably going for a blue shade, maybe a bluish gray. So let's see. Maybe those two. Anthracite gray and Caspian blue. The same thing we did on the front, and I'll add the lighter color. And then add the shadows like that. We can still see if it works. This might be a tiny bit too intense. Yeah, I think that's too intense. I want it way darker. So let's see, let's just add a bit of that blue to the gray and take that as our base color. Once that layer is dry, I don't care too much. I don't care so much anymore if the rest is dry. But in this stage, I want to make sure that I don't, rip away some layers of paint and the black is coming through. That's the only reason why I leave it to dry in this stage. Because later, when there's some wet and wet going on, that's not a bad thing. Gonna add some black and do the same we did in the front. So just shade it down with some black. And I usually never use pure black. I always mix, like I said, some of the base color in. And let's see how that looks. Okay, like I said, a bit of wet and wet going on here. Okay, forgot those corners, those edges. Bringing back some light and doing some blending with the wet brush. Okay, I think it can use a bit more black. I mean, that's the thing, you can't really, every time someone is talking about the glaze consistency, everyone you're going to ask is gonna mix the glaze in another way, right? And in another consistency. So in this case, I was mixing that graphite gray with this turquoise for the base color. And then I added some black, as you can see here. And then I take about this consistency, maybe a bit more. Sucks a bit because my base color is gone. Okay, so some black here. And yeah, that's my consistency. So if I paint something like that, it does cover quite a bit. And then I just use some water and feather out the edges. And like that. Can see, I mean, of course it's not as perfect, but you can see that there is a gradient forming. So if I did it again and you check the edges, right, there's clearly visible edges here, so a line almost. And now I take a wet brush and I just dab, and you can see that there's a gradient forming. If I also do it on the other side, not as good as I would do it on the miniature, but that's basically the technique here. But yeah, I just vary the tones and how much color I apply and where I take the color away again, and so on.